welcome to Happy Hour with Haley. I'm Haley Chura, back after a 1-week hiatus with Jocelyn Wong Neill, the woman who got me back on the air. Jocelyn, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, you wanted to take another week off, and I was like, no, I can't do next week. So, we also have broccoli shots to try.
Yes. So before we get into like all the woes of the world, um, let's do our broccoli shots. So if anyone did listen a few weeks ago, Fiona Moriarty came on and she was talking about how horrible broccoli shots are. And so naturally, that made me want to try one. So we ordered some. We have them here, and we're going to take these broccoli shots. These are all the rage. Apparently, it's what the Norwegians do. Norwegian skiers. I don't know if it's Norwegian triathletes, but whatever they're doing must be working. Do you think it's
Casper
broccoli?
Storms is on their website.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I think I did not. Did you do any research on broccoli shots?
I looked at their website. I had no idea what they were, what brand it even was. Like, I tried to look up broccoli shots and I couldn't find anything because she didn't mention a brand name, and you had found them on the feed.
Yes, I know. Everything's on the feed. And we're not sponsored by either broccoli shots or the feed or anything aside from Haley Chura's whatever side hustle.com. But we purchased these and we're going to do it on air. I think you're supposed to do this like 3 hours before a hard workout and then also 1 hour before sleep after a hard workout. I'm assuming it is late at night for you. You do not have a hard workout in the next 3 hours.
And I wanted to make it into a cocktail.
Right, because it is happy hour and Jocelyn loves a cocktail. And eventually I'm going to do that. I'm taking it as a shot because I like simplicity in life right now. But did you do a hard workout today that warrants a broccoli shot?
I rode my bike for an hour and a half outside,
Good.
which I actually don't think I've done all year. So,
Nice
yeah.
job.
Sure, longest
nice
ride of the year.
I have not done a hard workout in a very long time, so I do not know if I warrant a broccoli shot. I did just come back from the gym, so that was like the one thing I was like, okay, the gym to me is kind of a hard workout. I'm not lifting like I probably should be. I have not been taking good care of myself. Anyone who's listening to this probably listen to this podcast could probably figure that one out. But I tried to go to the gym because I was like, okay, that's the closest I can get to kind of a hard workout. And so that's where I just came from. So we are doing a recovery broccoli shot. I hope this turns me into
and it's an
Norwegian.
unbiased review.
It is unbiased. Like I said, we paid for these. Okay, so wait, what is your cocktail? You should go through your cocktail.
Okay, so I have my shaker. I have already put in simple syrup and lime juice, and then I'm gonna put in the other ingredients. So it's filled with ice. This is just fun for me because I do have a bachelor's in chemistry that I never use. So I have a little thingy of the Svedka vodka, which is really, I should just have more of different varieties of little shots of stuff, but
what's going through your head as someone with
often.
a bachelor's in chemistry while you're making a drink?
That maybe I didn't make that degree go to waste.
Yes, but what are the chemical reactions that are in a cocktail like this?
Are they exothermic? Are they endothermic? So there's a lot of ice. The shaking bounces the molecules around faster.
Okay. That's why we put drinks in a shaker. That's the science behind it. Oh, there goes the broccoli juice. The broccoli juice is in the shaker.
That was the broccoli juice.
Okay, and so now the molecules are bouncing around.
Yet. And then nice audio there.
That's a cool shaker.
And then It is a cool shaker. Yeah, it's from Simple Modern, so it's kind of kind of
Fancy.
fancy looking. Okay, green to match the broccoli, and then I don't have like a cocktail glass, but I have a wine glass from the wine glass marathon. I did the half marathon with friends like ages ago. Okay, and I do think it's a tiny wine glass. So depending how this tastes, I might be like doing refills. Let's see
Okay.
how fascinating this looks.
Okay, you're pouring from the shaker into the wine
I
glass. You're broccoli juice. It looks really
The
gross.
color, what I know, the color looks like, well, it kind of looks like like apple cider, like smushed up apple cider you get from the orchard.
Dirty water.
It
But
doesn't look that different than like the little bottle that it came in, right?
right. Okay, I'm
I'm
opening
probably just
it.
prolonging the taste. Okay, ready?
I'm gonna take it as a shot. Cheers.
I'm
Cheers to
gonna sip
life.
it. Cheers.
Okay, that wasn't that bad at all.
It's not it's
Fiona
not
led us
bad. It's
wrong.
just it's
It
kind of
tastes like
weird.
broccoli and lemon. It does
Mhm.
taste like, I mean, it does kind of taste like broccoli and lemon. Yeah. Not as
Mine
bad
is
as I expected though.
probably Mine is similar, I think, because I the actual ingredients in it is like like 80% broccoli with I think lemon juice and some sugar, like in the actual shot bottle. And then I
Hmm.
just added more sugar and more lime juice with the vodka. So it's just like making it like twice as much or three times as much, but
Okay, well,
you
I
took
do
it
have a
all in.
chaser. I have a chaser to my
Oh,
shot
good.
because, this is happy hour and I know who my audience is,
Yes.
Jocelyn Wong Neill. And so I have a Bitterroot Brewing Dirt Church Hazy IPA. So we are not,
Hooray!
yeah, I mean, it's probably gonna like all those like great lactate buffering solutions that I just ingested, the equivalent of what is it, 5 pounds of broccoli. I need to make sure I offset that because again, we're not going for maximum health these days. So my $7 broccoli shot is being offset by my much cheaper beer. But cheers to you.
Cheers. I
And
am
we'll
gonna
find
try
out.
it next weekend. Like I'm racing the Broad Street 10 miler in Philly, so I'll try something new on race day.
I support it. I support trying new things on race day. That's like my coaching thought of the day right now. But yeah, the broccoli shot, not bad. If someone wants to try it, I think it's worth trying. It feels a little bit less risky than bicarb, which I have not tried that. That's like the sodium bicarbonate like capsules that you have in gel. Have you heard of that? Like Morton makes it. I think
Ugh.
you
Yes.
eat it like oatmeal, and I bought some back when I was still racing. It is still unused in my. I was too afraid because I think if it goes wrong,
Wow.
you have like major GI distress is like what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's what I've heard.
I just never felt in a position, even for a workout, where I wanted to risk it. So never have. But maybe if
Mhm.
one of our listeners wants to write in and tell us about it, now I would probably risk it because I'm like, I'm always pretty close to a bathroom these days.
What
So,
is there to
it's
lose?
a yeah, maybe I should. Although no, it's probably like expired bicarb. I don't does it go bad? I feel like Arm& and Hammer kind of does go bad
Just
when it's like in your fridge for too long.
check. That's true.
Tell me
Check
the
the
chemistry
label.
behind that one. Tell me the chemistry.
No, stop.
But
Stop. It's been over 20 years since I did any chemistry.
I mean, but it like nostalgia's in. So I feel like you doing chemistry is what we need. But I'm happy to see you again. As I alluded earlier, took last week off. I commentated Ironman Texas, which was very fun. But I didn't take very good care of myself. I think. During race day, we're always talking about like, oh, eat and drink and, take care of yourself, especially when it's hot.
Mhm.
And I don't think I did that. And got very dehydrated. And then I made it home, but I was just not in good shape, and I just didn't I had all these plans to, like, even podcast, like, get someone from the race. I was like, "Oh, I'll just get someone to ask them to come on," and I was just having a little bit of a down in the, just down moment, and I just didn't even wanna ask anyone. So that's why there's
Mhm.
no show last week. And then I was actually really nice not having to kinda stay up and edit. And then I was like, "Well, why am I doing this?" And then I remembered it's because I love talking to you and then putting it out on the internet. And so I do have thoughts. I think there is still value in the podcast, and hopefully people do enjoy listening to
Mhm.
it. But I'm sorry for my week off.
It's quite alright though because we started this before Christmas, and
Mhm.
we've you had a really great streak of, like, 4 months in a row, podcasting every week, not missing a single week for, like, anything, so you deserve to take a week off.
Thanks. I know I hit my breaking point, but other than that, Ironman Texas was a good time. I will say it was fun to be back at a race that I had raced and in a different capacity as a commentator. I love being in that environment. I probably overdid it a little bit by taking like 0 days off work, just because I used a lot of PTO
Mhm.
for New Zealand and it's still a very busy time of year. So I did work from the hotel on Friday, flew in late Thursday night, worked from the hotel on Friday, and then got up real early for the race on Saturday. And that was a lot, and then went back to work on Monday, and, that was a lot, but it was, really cool to see the behind the scenes of a North American Ironman and how the broadcast worked, and I think it was honestly a more challenging venue, a little bit just because of how the Woodlands is set up where it's like it's have you ever been there? It's a planned community, but
Yes.
it's very, like, you've been there. Okay. So it is like but things are, like, not easy to get to in between, like, different areas. And then how the bike course is where you, like, ride out and then you ride 2 loops on that highway. It's just not easy to get on and off the highway. And so we were able to, like,
Mhm.
get out onto the bike course on a bridge, but it was just a little more challenging than New Zealand where we could just, like, walk around. We had to actually drive in a car, and,
Okay.
part of it's fun because you get,
Yeah.
like, you have someone driving, and they have a pass, and you can make, like, illegal U-turns and stuff, but that's the level of my excitement these days. But it was, it was fun to see everyone and see how the race played out, and, they had a really interesting day. It was forecasted to be really hot, to be really windy, potentially electrical storms, and none of that happened. Instead, it was quite low wind, and it even drizzled a little bit on the first lap for the men on the run, and we just saw these incredibly fast times. Watching Christian Blumenfeld do a 7:21 Ironman, like, that
Mhm.
time is so fast, like,
So
watching them
fast.
run so fast and just it's hard to grasp how fast that is, and then also having just seen him in New Zealand, 6 weeks prior doing an Ironman and turning around and coming
Mhm.
back and winning 2 70.3s in between, I'm like, "Wow." I mean, that's all
Yeah.
I could think, and wow,
Yeah.
and I also really enjoyed watching the women's race. Taylor Knibb led for so long, and then Solveig Loveseth came by her, and Solveig just looked happy, in control, like,
That's
she's done
amazing.
4 Ironmans in the past year and gotten progressively better at each of them. I don't think it's even been a year. Her first one was in Hamburg last year. She, did Hamburg, won and was 2nd there,
Wow.
won Ironman Lake Placid, won Kona, and then now has won Ironman Texas in nearly a really fast time. 8:11 I think was her time, which was 1 minute slower than Kat Matthews' course record from last year. It was so impressive, and with that course, I do think there were times when people thought Solveig might go under 8 hours because when they were projecting her time. Yes, it was just so fast. I mean, Jocelyn, it was so exciting, and I
Mhm.
got to, just be out there and watch it happen, and that was really, really fun, and then also be kind of behind the scenes of the finish line. I This is like a fun fact, like,
Mhm.
the people who were holding up the banner for Christian, before Christian came across the line, they were standing there for, like, 10 or 15 minutes holding the banner, like, holding the because you can't necessarily see when he's coming,
What?
and they had to be ready. So they
Okay,
were ready for, like, 10 or 15 minutes, like, just standing there holding it perfectly, and it was, like, these
interesting.
parents and kids, and, yeah, it was such a long time, and, I mean, it's such a production. They had a DJ at the finish line. It was it was a good time. It was fun to just kind of hang out there, but and then you see, like, the masses of the photographers wanting to get that shot
Yeah,
as the winners come across the line. For the women, it's a little bit different because you have the pro men coming across, and so they're, like, timing it, getting the banner out there, and
huh,
it's, but again, it's really fun to see the behind the scenes. I think knowing how they take into account athlete safety with what kind of motos are on the course, what kind of boats are on the course,
yeah,
what kind of, who's in the course on the run. Is it like motos or, bicycles and how they're cutting cameras out there. It really makes you appreciate how difficult it is to broadcast an event that's 140.6 miles long, but also really fast. To do it fair between the men and women, there's a lot of decisions that are made that
mhm.
to keep the coverage equal, um, and I think it's just given me so much admiration and respect for not only the athletes, but the Ironman organization and how they are working to showcase the professional athletes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, speaking of athlete safety, there was the one woman that did drown on the swim. That was really sad to hear.
That was super sad. I don't know a lot of the details, but it seemed like she was an accomplished athlete in her 30s, and, it's just a tragedy. I think that's the only word for it,
Yeah, yeah.
but,
Yeah, I've swam
that's
in
so
that
sad.
canal. It's narrow, the water is, like, not super clear.
Right, and I do think, Ironman does a good job. I in general, I think as a swimmer, I think of having safety boats and
Mhm.
platforms and out on the course, and I know that since they implemented the time trial start where it's not just a mass wave start, that has helped with some of those, like, anxiety and, shocks and just the combativeness of the swim. You can self-seed yourself, so they try to mitigate the risk, but it is still open water swimming is dangerous, and I think Ironman is
Yeah.
dangerous, and you're never without risks, and, um, I hope her family is doing okay and, they'll get some answers on why that happened.
Mhm.
But did you get to watch any of the coverage or this one was, during your Saturday, and, I know it was probably a busy day for you?
It's hard. It's almost easier to watch it when it's, like, on a Friday when I'm at work and I know I'm sitting down in front of a computer, but we did turn it on, and then I tried to put it onto it's easier that it is on YouTube because, I think most people have a smart TV, but you can, like, open up YouTube on your TV and just watch it straight from there instead of trying to figure out the outside TV thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I did put it on in the living room, and then I would go and do chores and tell Ainsley, like, "Hey, listen and look for Haley." So and she, like, was kind of into it. She would, like, pretend to run when they were running, and then I was like, "But I don't see Haley yet," and then I only heard you for, like, a little bit, but they didn't show you. I just heard your voice.
I think it was a little bit different than New Zealand just in how we fit into the coverage, and again and I was working with Jody Stimson, who was, my I guess, partner as a field reporter, but we were before the start, I did a little interview with Scott Deroux, the CEO of Ironman Group, and, Cameron and Peyton, uh, Henderson, who were
The
twin
twins.
18-year-olds. Yeah, so you had sent me their profile, I think, previously, and they were fun to interview. I mean, I can't imagine
Mhm.
doing an Ironman on your 18th birthday. That's so young, and to do it with your
Mhm.
twin sister is pretty neat, and I think that they had trained really hard for that. When I was looking them up and learning a little bit about them before the race, I'm like, it's impressive. I do find it very impressive,
Mhm.
and they did finish. They finished in very respectable times, and I think
Mhm.
to be that young and to do an Ironman is really impressive. But you how old were you again when you did your first Ironman?
I was 20.
So how do you
Yeah.
feel about it, knowing 18-year-olds are still doing Ironman?
It's kind of insane because are they still in high school? Are they, like, freshmen in college?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe we should invite them on. I bet they would
Yeah,
come on. Um, it's still
probably.
really young. I mean, when I was 18, I was really just swimming. I could probably run a few miles, but definitely not a marathon. And so I think it is really fascinating. But 20 is still very young when you did it.
It
But
is. If I
the
had
young
somebody, like, my age doing it with me, that would have, like, been so much more fun, though.
right, that does help. But
Mhm.
you were just wise beyond your years
Ha!
getting that chemistry degree. That now you can use to make broccoli
Brock
teenies.
Brocktails.
Brocktails. But, yes, they set a world record for being the youngest twins to do an Ironman triathlon that I guess won't be able to be broken because you have to do it on your birthday, on your 18th birthday, unless someone got to,
Yeah,
like, lie and did it on their, like, when they were, like, 17 and a half. Because I think you need to be 18 to do an
but
Ironman, but
oh, you do have to be 18. Uh-huh.
someone could get a special dispensation of their twins, but it's just so impressive. I think I said this after New Zealand that when you watch the race from those angles, all you feel is like admiration and respect for all the athletes, and it's helped me,
Mhm.
I think, come to terms a little bit with my own racing and my own career and feeling a little bit proud of myself for the years that I did race and the races that
Yeah.
I had and maybe there's some hope for me that maybe not to race in the same capacity, but there's still a place for me in the sport and in sports in general that as I grapple with like the loss of identity of not necessarily being a professional athlete anymore, I think that it it's like a nice step. It's a nice step. So I'm trying to appreciate that. And but that was like
Mhm.
that one I should have been on camera for, but it was dark and we were doing an interview in the dark. And then and it was also just interesting. I'm interviewing a CEO and two 18-year-olds, and I'm like, how do I put this together? I was proud of the questions that I did ask. We had a little microphone snafu because it was early in the day, but I was, like, kind of proud of that, and then we watched the sim start and then headed right to transition, and, the transition was just wild with the men's transition with it being so many so many men coming through. Um,
Yeah, what was that like?
it was just, very chaotic, and I wished I had studied the men more, I guess, but I'm even like, "How would I do that?" Like, it's so
Mhm.
hard when they come through, they look a lot alike. With the kids these days, I think what you more need to do is, like, study their bikes maybe? You can't I thought about studying numbers, but it's very hard to see the numbers, they're quite small,
Yeah.
and so I I part of me is like, maybe I would be better used, like, on the boat or something like that, but I think that's hard to show men and women both on the boat, with one commentator, but, in transition, it's just so chaotic, it's hard, but maybe that's part of
Mhm.
it, is just to, like, be there and witness the chaos and talk about that chaos, and it's not as much about identifying specific people, but, it was I mean, it's a rush, it's fun, I think Jody and I got where we kind of knew each other a little bit better and could kind of
Mhm.
work off each other, as the day went on, and then it does thin out. It's that first transition is really hard, and then it thins out, and you sometimes would be in the shot where, like, you would have the athletes running behind you, and that was hard because I can't, like, look back and see who it is, and so I'd be like, Who's coming? Who's coming?" And so I think there's certain things with, like, camera angles and, there's just definitely room for improvement on that, and it would be nice if we could have kind of the same team at races, like the same camera people and handler and commentators, but I just don't know if
Mhm.
that's quite the infrastructure is there for that yet. And so because you learn so much throughout the day and then you like go off and do it all again a few months later with totally different people. Uh, anyway, we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
if they invite me back and let me do it again. We'll see.
Mhm.
But I know that while I have been off commentating, you had a breakthrough with Ainsley and ice skating.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. So, she's been wanting to ice skate, but then she chickens out. And so we had her, I think the last time we talked about this, we went ice skating. She put the skates on but didn't get on the ice. But then she did say she wanted to learn. So we then signed her up for skating lessons. And, up till the day of the first lesson, she was waffling back and forth. And then the first lesson, which was a little over a week ago, she acted all blindsided, like, like, why am I here? I didn't say I wanted to do skating lessons. Like, girl, seriously. But I still like had her put on the ice skates, put on her helmet and everything. And she was too scared. She like cried and cried and was just like very upset and like, I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. And I'm like, honey, you asked to learn to how to skate. I was like, all right, you don't have to get on the ice today. But then afterwards, we talked a lot about being brave and we had our mantras like, I am brave. I might fall, but that's okay. Because I do think she's just scared of falling and hurting herself. And we talked about how many times have you fallen running around the sidewalk? And she's like, a lot. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. So then got her all hyped up. And I knew this was going to happen again. Is that as soon as we got inside, she was like, I don't think I want to do this. And we're like, ah. Okay, put on your ice skates, put on everything. And then luckily this time another teacher approached her and helped pry her off of me. She wasn't crying this time, but she like had my arm in a death grip. And then it was like, well, what if we use the cone so you can hold on to it? And then I had to be like, oh, I have to go call your dad. I'll be over here. I'll be watching you. Cause I do think when they like once they separate the kid from the parent, it's like so much easier. But when she's like clinging on to me for dear life, it's like, oh boy. But she got on. She got on. She like looked so terrified the first time. But then like she came out, gave me the biggest hug, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you." And I actually had tears in my eyes because I was like, wow, she was so scared and she did it. And then she went back out and she like came back and forth like 5 times. And by the end, she was actually
Oh.
smiling. I was so happy for her.
Well, that probably has to be such a good parenting moment, and I'm sure all the parents listening are can relate, but I hope you feel good about that, and I hope it gets progressively easier. And then I think this coming weekend is your big Stars on Ice tour, right? She gets to see Elisa Leo in person.
Yes. Yes, we are going to Stars on Ice. My husband was saying something about us going to Disney on Ice, and she was like, "No, Dad, it's Stars on Ice." So she knows. She knows you're gonna go see the Olympians. And yeah, I was like, I felt good because I was like, okay, I wasn't sure. I'm never sure. Am I pushing you to do something you don't want to do? I think we talked about this last time. Am I like projecting what I want you to do, or do you actually want to do it and you're scared? And it turned out she was just scared and needed to be like really pushed to outside her comfort zone. So now she's like actually excited to go back next week. We have I think it's like 6 weeks of lessons on Thursday nights.
Very cool. Well, you have to keep us updated over the next 6 weeks and get us when you come back after your Stars on Ice, weekend, tell us how it is. There was another big race this past week, that, I didn't run, but I did follow, and that was the Boston Marathon. Did you watch any of the Boston
Huh?
Marathon? Since it was during work, did you
It was
did you
during
catch that
work.
one?
It was during work, but it's so much shorter than an Ironman. It was like, uh, that morning, I had, like, a really busy patient schedule, and then by the time I got through everyone, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've missed the whole thing."
So, you need an afternoon work, um, race. That's what you need. But, it was a really exciting race. I think they had cold conditions in Boston, but fast conditions. The,
Mhm.
men's winner was, like, 2:01, and I think the women's winner was 2:19. Do I have that right? I'm not it was
It was
Sharon
so
Lokedi won for a
fast.
second time. John Career won the
Mhm.
men's race, Sharon Lokedi, and then the other really cool result I saw was Des Linden ran a 2:35, which is so fast, and she did it, like, a week after running Marathon des Sables, which is, like, in the Sahara
Oh,
Desert,
yeah.
like a
Uh-huh,
stage race in the
uh-huh.
Sahara Desert, and then she's doing London, which is in a few hours from now. Des is retired. Des is doing retirement right. She didn't go she didn't do what I did. But, we can't all be Des Linden. I never won at, the Boston Marathon or came close, but I did enjoy I had 5 athletes I coach who raced in Boston, and they all had really solid days. I think it was really a great day as a coach to track some of my athletes
Mhm.
and see them have good days there, and it's been a couple busy race weekends, I feel like, for, some of my coached athletes who have some of them running races. It's a good time of year for the running races, and
Yeah.
then we're starting to get a few triathlons happening, even local triathlons, and you raced a duathlon a few weeks ago, and so it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun that we're, like, getting more into the race season, and, um I'm excited to see these athletes who I know have put in lots of hard work over the winter and get to see it pay off in some spring races.
Yeah, we're definitely deep into race season now, and yeah, good job, coach. 5 athletes at the Boston Marathon.
Oh, I was like, yeah, I know. It's like I know I like come on here and I complain quite a bit about life and where I fit in life. And I think my one of the nicest things I do think about my complaints is that they aren't unique. I think that the things I'm going through right now are things that a lot of athletes go through when they step away from the sport in the way that they have
Mhm,
been. And I know that I take comfort from that in that my problems are not unique because it can feel so isolating if you are having problems that are only your own. And I'm like, no, these aren't my problems. These are things that I knew would happen. And then, but then there's a piece of me that's like, it won't happen to me. And now I'm like, it's happening to me. but,
sure, sure.
but it's
No,
okay.
I went
It's
through
okay.
it, and I do think, like, life is just hard. It's hard to manage, like, everything, and especially when you're juggling, like, a full-time, like, quote, unquote, "traditional job" where you're working regular working people hours, and you had a lot more flexibility before, but you're still trying to do, like, all these things, like, still exercise, and it's just hard. Hard
It
doing
is
everything,
hard.
hard juggling everything.
And I'm kind of coming to terms with it's like, okay, it's okay. It was a 12-year break. I'm not as good as I used to be, but maybe there's hope. Maybe there's hope I can get back to that to where I was when I was like 26, and there's days when I feel really hopeful about that, and then I'm like, okay, it's okay. Like what you're going through right now, not great, but life won't always be this way.
Mhm,
And so I'm trying to tell myself that, and I will say the days getting longer right now has been really, really nice, like, just more daylight. I ran last night at, like,
mhm.
7:30 at night, and I was just gonna go really short run. I was kinda tired, and so I was like, "I'll just go for, like, 30 minutes." And then I got out there, and it was just so nice. It had snowed in the morning, and then all the snow had melted, and it wasn't too muddy, and there was no one out, and I'm a fairly social person. I actually like sometimes, like, having other people around at the pool, the gym, um, having people to talk to, but it was just it had been a really actually a pretty good Friday, and I was feeling good, and I'm probably effectively, like, tapered right now because I haven't been exercising as much.
Wait, how long
So
did you run?
oh, like a little more than an hour. It wasn't crazy. It wasn't
Okay,
crazy because again,
okay.
it's I don't it wasn't like but it was like that sunset time and I just felt good and I was like, "Okay, I'm very
Huh.
thankful that I am fit and healthy enough that I can just do this." And while I wish I could go a little longer running fitness-wise and time-wise, it was still like, "Okay, you're out here and you're enjoying these views and it's a beautiful Montana evening and that made me feel good." So I think I just have to like really embrace those moments and hopefully there are more of them in the coming weeks and I get to be, just back kind of feeling like an athlete again.
Well, I can tell you about being signed up to do nationals again this year.
Oh, right. Okay. Wait, Nationals in Milwaukee? Is that where it's happening?
Yes. Yeah.
When is that? August?
So, yep, it's August, I think 8th through the 10th. And so last year was really, really disappointing for me because I signed up only to race the sprint distance. Because the previous year was the first time I had done nationals in Atlantic City. And I only did it because it was within driving distance. And I did both the Olympic and sprint, didn't take it too seriously, and then, of course, like, got my butt, like, whooped because people come from all over the country to, like, try to dominate at nationals, and I was like, "Oh, wow." I also noticed that I had done better in the sprint than the Olympic, even though it was, like, the 2nd day. So I was like, "That's it. I'm gonna be, like, a sprint distance specialist in my 40s." And so that's what my goal was last year, and then this was the year that the morning of the sprint distance, it got canceled because of massive flooding. So
Right.
it was such a letdown because I was like, I had vowed I wouldn't ever fly with my bike again after I retired. I flew with my bike, I flew with my child, I brought a friend because my husband couldn't come, and yeah, it was so disappointing, and so I was like, "Okay, I'll sign up to do it again." And this time there's draft legal sprint as well.
Oh.
So I actually signed up for 3 days of racing. I'm doing the draft legal sprint on Friday. I'm doing mixed team relay on Saturday. So, the Olympics in the morning, I'm not doing the Olympic, but the relay, mixed team relay is in the afternoon. And then Sunday, I'm doing I guess it's the non-drafting sprint distance.
Wow. Have you done this before? I mean, I guess you have. You've done the multi-day racing, and that's like all the rage
Mm.
now, right? Like it's kind of like what I did at Disney earlier this year.
Kind of like I don't usually do multi-day racing, like just that year when I did the Olympic and the sprint back to back.
Huh?
Um, but I was like so pissed off about the year before that. I was like, well, if I sign up for 3 days of racing, they can't all be canceled. So that the trip's not a
Odds.
complete waste. Um, and then my friend Victoria, who has done mixed team relay and she's like done worlds and stuff before, she asked me to be on her relay team. So I was just actually looking up the distances. It's kind of crazy short. Do you know what the distances are?
I think it's like is it a 300-meter swim? Like 15-kilometer bike, 1 kilometer run?
It's shorter than that.
Shorter, shorter. What do we have?
Hold on, let me see. I have it. It's so short. 225-meter swim, 4.3K bike. Not
Okay.
4.3 miles, 4.3 kilometers on the bike. I don't even know what that converts
Like
to. Less than a 5K.
that's less than
So
3
it's like
miles.
2 something. Yeah, 2 point
Wow.
something miles. And then a 0.8K run, which is an 800-meter run, which is that was like what distance I ran in track when I was in high school. That's half a mile. 2 laps
Nostalgia's
around the
in.
track.
Wow, that's gonna be fun. Very fast and furious. I should have known those distances. I have actually coached athletes who've raced those. I think at the multi-sport festival that they have earlier in the year, that USA Triathlon
Yeah.
has earlier in the year, and people love that mixed relay. They love it. So I think you're gonna have a really
Mhm.
good time. It's cool that they are bringing that to Milwaukee, and I enjoyed racing in Milwaukee when I raced for the PTO US Open years ago. I think it was in 2023. I still count that, I think, as one of my best races of my career. And I finished ninth there, and those were the precursors of the T100 races. We forgot to mention the
Yeah.
T100 race in Singapore. The men did race in
Oh,
Singapore
Singapore.
early this morning, and I have memories of being in Singapore, but I think it's the same thing. Watching that race, I'm like, I can't believe I've ever been there. I'm like, what? How did I?
Yeah.
How did I'm like? I feel like such a random normal person now, and it's hard for me to like realize that I've ever like I dove off that same pontoon, and the water was so hot. It was so warm, and
It's
they
so
went really
hot
fast.
there.
Hayden Wild won that race, and
Uh-huh.
I mean, kudos to him. He makes it look like it's not that hot, but gosh, that's
He
the
looks
hottest I've ever
good
been.
doing it. Uh-huh.
That's the
Yeah, I
hottest
did
I've
it.
ever been.
I've raced there when there used to be a Ironman 70.3 there. I don't know that they have that
In
anymore.
Singapore.
Yeah, because remember when I was on Team TBB, our headquarters was actually in Singapore, so I've been to Singapore, like, a handful of times.
Wow. What did you think of that T100 race? And I mean, are those like scenes that you remember? Did you swim in Marina Bay Sands for the 70.3 or in that like Marina Bay? I guess Marina Bay Sands is the hotel, but in the casino, but the Marina Bay, is that where they swam?
I don't this was in 2009. It
I
was
feel like you
a
probably didn't. I think it's like not like you're not like supposed to swim in that bay. I think it's actually like not very
I can't remember. I do know we
swim
stayed
friendly.
at a fancy hotel. Did you get to stay at a fancy hotel?
I did. I said that's probably one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed
Yeah.
in. I think that one, and then when I raced in China, I stayed in a very fancy hotel.
Huh.
And those are the fanciest hotels I've ever stayed in. I'm pretty sure.
My
It's
gosh. I did
you
love racing in Asia. It was so cool.
so cool, but so hot. It's just like
Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
Although the races I
Literally so
didn't,
hot.
but kudos to those men who raced in Singapore, where you're just dripping sweat. And I saw that it was like raining. I think when they were like checking in their bikes in transition, and that is another one where I remember when I went for a run in the rain in Singapore, and when it stopped raining, it felt like I was at high altitude because the air is like so thick with
It's
water.
so humid, yes,
You
so
can't
humid.
breathe. That like you
Uh-huh,
can't breathe.
uh-huh.
It's really weird, but anyway, back to Milwaukee. That's going to be a very fun experience. I loved Milwaukee. As far as all the T100 and PTO races I did, which wasn't that many, that one was my favorite. I think Milwaukee is a great, great venue, and it seems like USA Triathlon is welcomed there. So I'm excited for you. You have a lot to look forward to in August.
Yeah, I think although once I do that one, I think that I'm gonna close my chapter on racing nationals
Okay.
because I don't know, I really don't like traveling with my bike, and I also, like so last year I missed going home to California, and I did Milwaukee instead, and so you can imagine why I was, like, extra pissed off that the race got canceled. Because as a working person, you only have so, like, limited vacation days, and so I'm like, "What am I doing here?" And so
Yeah.
that was actually why when we talked the last time about doing the San Francisco Marathon, I'm like, "I would rather spend the time to see my family that's on the other side of the country, do some bucket list races in the California area, and not have to travel with my bike." My brother does have a road bike. He has a Cervelo and we're the same size.
Okay.
So I may have Alcatraz like on my bucket list in the future if that works out. I've never done that before, and I've always wanted to, but it was always so damn expensive. It's like over $800.
Heard that. I have heard that. I never raced Alcatraz either. And it was sort of on my bucket list, but it's that is a steep price of admission, but you probably have a place to
Mhm.
stay,
I
so
would have
that
a place to
offsets the
stay.
cost, and then
Mhm.
you have a bike to ride. I feel like you might need to do it. I think you
Yeah.
might need to do it. Tell us about it. But, I get it. I get it, definitely, for sure. Traveling with a bike is hard, and my last couple trips that I've gone to races and I did not bring my own bike, it was I mean, I didn't necessarily miss it, like, going up to the I traveled I
Right?
mean, I went to Texas with just carry-on, which is, like, very weird. I'm just usually someone who packs so much, and so it's very
Yeah.
weird to not have to go stand in line there and not have to, like, just hand over my credit card and be like, "Just don't even tell me how much it is." Just charge the card, I don't wanna
Yeah.
know, and then wait for all the luggage, and
Yeah.
you hope everything comes through okay, but there is something
Mhm.
so like, I am so proud of myself for how much I travel around the world with a bike, and I think it
Yeah.
had those skills have helped me in life when things are tough, I can kinda work through things because 'cause I'm like, nothing is as hard as trying to make sure you have your bike in a foreign country or, like, get into, like, a foreign
Exactly.
taxi and, like, negotiate that they'll take your bike as well and get used to, like, all the fees that come with that, and just
Mhm.
that prepared me for a lot of things. I'm still really hoping it pays off otherwise, but,
Do you
each
remember
day.
when I used to make my own bike boxes and then I would lie about what the contents were?
Yes, because you would,
That was
like
how I got
you
out
were,
of
like,
bike fees.
measuring them and, like, cutting cardboard boxes so they were, like, the smallest, like, measurements possible. You really had it down to an art and a science. Putting those STEM classes to work.
Exactly. 'Cause,
You,
yeah, it was, like, the oversized dimensions. I, like, made myself 2 custom boxes. One was for the wheel set, one was for the frame, and both of them were within the dimensions so that I could get away with not paying the oversized fees. When I did fly to Milwaukee last year, it was on American Airlines, and I was actually stunned that paying for your bike was the same as paying for regular luggage. Like, they no longer charge for a bike as, like, an extra oversized item. As long as it was under 50 pounds, it was still,
right.
like, $45, which was mind-blowing to me. I was like, "Oh, I don't have to pretend it's, like, an art project or, like,
What was the
special
craziest thing you
tools."
said? Special tools. Special tools. They're carbon
I think
tools.
I said I was an artist, and there was, like, this arts festival I was going to, and I had sculptures inside.
Cheers. I used to get asked a lot if it was a musical instrument. I'm like, "A musical instrument?" I'm like, "I wish. I wish I could knew how to play a musical instrument," but I'm like, "No, it's a bike." I'm not really someone who likes buying, I guess. Like, I would just say, "It's a bike. Take my credit card." Which is also why I'm
I
not a
maybe
person with a
I'm
lot of money.
I'm just a dirty liar. I'm very sneaky.
Well, Jocelyn, I'm glad you've motivated me to keep talking. I do like to keep working on my speaking skills. I think that those, maybe will pay
Mhm.
off in the future as I navigate new parts of life. But I thank you for motivating me to come on and chat with you this evening and continue with the podcast, even though it's been some moments of questioning, and thank you to everyone who has listened and who has I hope there's some value for all of us.
Of course, we had to try the broccoli shots. This is for the podcast.
If nothing else, we tried broccoli shots. I mean, I'll let you know if my lactate is all buffered tomorrow, but as I try to do another like hour run, but I think I yeah, definitely not as bad tasting as Fiona made it out to be. Sorry, Fiona.
It's still kinda weird.
It's a little weird, but again, I don't know. If it works, it works. But Jocelyn, enjoy your Stars on Ice next weekend, and I'll try to carry your words with me and continue through life doing what I can as well as I can. I'm trying.
Amazing. Yes, we can do hard things. We can do hard things.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.